focusing.
Yeah. Okay. That's what Poppy's idea. So let's go back.
So I hope you're going to be in the picture.
Yeah. To get stuff from your age. Okay. So how did you get to school?
I walked 3 minutes and I was at school.
Was it close?
Very close. My parents bought a house close to the school.
And did the teachers ever hit people?
No,
For discipline?
not in the, it was a girls' school. They didn't hit girls, but they gave them punishment. They said, you must stay on a Friday afternoon and do extra work at school. You know, punishment like that. Detention, they called it.
Yeah. Did they... Sorry. And did you ever have anything with like the Second World War? Did anything ever interfere with your life with that?
Oh, it's very much so. The Second World War was very stressful for everybody because many of our friends had their only sons go up north to fight and they never came back. They were killed. And then also the potatoes were scarce. We couldn't find silk stockings because the silk went up for the parachutes. So we had been rationed with many things that we couldn't eat what we wanted to. So what we did, because in those days it was just a must, ladies must wear silk stockings to look very ladylike. So what they did was they shaved their hair, they painted it like looking like a silk stocking, and we still had a little seam at the back. In those days the silk stockings had the seam and it had to be very straight. So we painted with much effort a little seam at the back. Now it took so long to get your legs look nice that we didn't bath the legs for a whole week. We would hang them out of the bath and bath the rest, but not the legs.
Did you ever hear anything about Germany, like the Nazi?
Every day on the news, every day. And then there was the Afrikaner and the Englishmen, who were very separate in the country at the time. And the Afrikaner were inclined to support the Germans in their efforts, and not the English. So there would be secret connections on radios. They called it Ziesen, where you could catch a station from Germany and hear all the details from them.
Wow. So, what was the kind of stuff they like told you on the radios?
Well, they wanted the support from the, it was actually like, if you caught out that you're listening to Ziesen, then this country would have given you a punishment. They didn't want you to, support the Germans, because they were the enemy. And so they were very secretive about some of the information they sent over.
Wait, so did you really even know what was going on in Germany or not? Or did you just...
Well, you would know because the news would be one-sided. Of course, the English would say what happened. So many houses were bombed, so many people died, so many aeroplanes were shot down, so many this, all damages. You'd hear that every day on the news for 10 years.
10 years?
10 years. I was for 6 years, sorry. I was 10 years old when the war broke out and 16 when it stopped.
Wow.
And it was just all sadness everywhere. A war doesn't solve any problem. It is from Satan. It's a terrible thing to happen. You see, if we have the gospel, we know that the Lord says if you are cross and if you fight, then you must stop it because it is from Satan.
Did you guys here in South Africa ever have any interference with the war itself here?
Yes, well, as I say, our men went up north to fight there, so that is how they were involved. My father stayed behind, but many doctors went up north to help and assist the wounded. And my one uncle went up north to assist the wounded. My father said he will stay as a doctor in South Africa because the doctors can't all go away, then there's nothing here. And then when my uncle came back, Raymond Tron, he was completely white. He had brown hair when he left and he was completely white when he came back.
Mm.
I think the shock of what he had seen was too much. And he never wanted to speak about anything there.
Wow.
Yeah, but we followed the war daily on the radios, on the news.
And how did dating go back then?
Dating?
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're in grade 11, standard 9,
Mm-hmm.
you start feeling something and you feel, ooh, I like that chap and I like this one and I like that one, but you feel so shy. When you see them, you even blush. Very prim and proper. And then we would love going out and socialize. We danced a great deal. We went to dances. Even from standard 9, we danced a great deal. And then the whole evening we would dance. There was no such thing as pushing off behind a little bush and kissing one another. That didn't happen. No, that didn't happen.
And did you always formally go out? Like, he would always wear a suit and you'd wear a dress?
No, sometimes we'd go to picnics, we had fun times. I've got, you should have seen my albums of my youth. We had lots of fun as youth. I should have shown it to you before, but if you have time left, I can still show you. Lots of fun times together on the rivers, camping out and enjoying picnics and that sort of thing.
So what would be your advice for people nowadays for dating?
It would be?
What would your advice be?
For people dating?
Yeah, today.
Well, it's the church has its formula of saying how you should date. I'd say don't tread where you don't know how to control yourself, because then you're going to be sorry for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told Monique already, I said the choices you make today will last in your life forever. So be careful how you make your choices today.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's good to get to know a person before you allow the person to, let's say, flirt with you too much.
So was there everything your parents would say or grandparents that would just be simple advice or everything?
Well, my grandmother had a wonderful saying. She said, now this is in Afrikaans, dolle plesier, maar 10 tree van my lyf. Charles, what would you say is that in English? Plenty of pleasure, but 10 feet from my body. Do you see? Isn't that a good advice? Even the grandmother had that. Plenty of pleasure. Go out, enjoy life, but 10 feet from my body.
And life advice for the future.
My advice for the future.
Mm-hmm.
I think your dad said it well last night at the table. You have your ups and downs. Sometimes you don't feel so close to the Lord. You feel a bit down, you feel a bit disappointed in people. Often people disappoint you in the church. But don't let that put you off. Look past people. The gospel. You study and you pray and you read your scriptures and the Spirit will come back. If you neglect those things, the Spirit will go away. And then you'll feel you have the Lord on your side. And when the Lord is on your side, nothing can go wrong. You will get your blessings.
Yes. Well, I don't know if I have anything else to say. But anything
Isn't that amazing? Where did you get all these questions from?
Oh, Poppy said that he wrote down some stuff and I gave some
Oh, I
ideas
see.
as well.
Okay. Although, only through illness or on holiday, I have missed church. Otherwise, I've never missed church. I would always go regularly. There must be a very good reason if I don't go.
Yeah.
And I still feel the same excitement, desire as I had in the beginning. It still hasn't faded. That this is the place to be.
else? Anything you just like to say?
I didn't like school.
You didn't like school?
I didn't like school because I was forced to do subjects that I didn't like. I said, why can't the school system work it differently and let us choose the subjects we want? Why must they tell us what to do?
What subjects did you not like?
Languages, Afrikaans, English. I liked speaking it, but all the grammar and whatever goes with it, I didn't like that. And then I was never good with arithmetic, maths, never. So I fortunately could drop that when I was in grade 10. And then I had to take other subjects. And then I didn't know what the subjects were all about and what the teachers were like. So I chose history, which was a mistake. I should have taken geography rather. Then I took biology, which I liked. Art, of course, that I liked. And we had to have 6 subjects, but 4 had to be on the standard of going to university. And then because of this history thing, the teacher teaching us in such an incorrect way, you had to learn word by word every page and recite it. That's not how you teach history. Now, if we write a test, I would get full marks because I would be able to memorize it on a short section. But the whole book is impossible. And every year I failed history. And I realized that the system was wrong. And then I had to pass it to get to university. I thought, what's history got to do with my art? Nothing. And I was so furious. And I had 4 tries and then I passed it with distinction. Because I then did what I shouldn't have done. I spotted. That means you spot so many questions. Hopefully, they'll ask them. If they don't, you fail completely. Because you only know those questions, you know them well. And I knew those few questions so well that I got distinction. So I was fortunate that I spotted correctly.